Hello everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. I'm finally back with a trope rec video. I haven't done one in forever and I needed to give you guys some more book recs. And what better one to do than just dark romance? I mean, I primarily read dark romance. I have a ton of dark romance recs. So I actually had put up a poll, like which video you guys wanted from me, because I was trying to figure out which one I want to do. And dark romance was the big winner by far. So no surprise there. You know, my viewers are going to love dark romance because that's what I love. And here I am. So let's go ahead and dive into some of my favorite recent or, you know, more recent dark romance recs. Okay guys, so I am so excited to be doing this video. I haven't talked about dark romance with like a specific recommendation video since I started on BookTube. So I think I did my first like dark romance video like when I first started, so it's very awkward. I'll put it up like up here if you guys want to check it out. I have some of my favorite, all-time favorite dark romance recs in there. So in this video, I am trying to give you guys some different ones because I read a lot of dark romance. So I have a ton of these to give you. So I wanted to give you guys an updated list. If you want to see that video, it's some of my top faves. Definitely check that out. But for this one, I'm going to go into some more recent ones or some of my faves, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. Before I do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I love your guys' support. If you like my content, if you want to see me review books weekly, book recommendations, book vlogs, all of that, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Appreciate you guys. All right, so let's dive in. And if you are not new to my channel, you're not going to be surprised at what my first one is, because this was my book that I've probably recommended a million times, and it was my top book of the year last year. So that is Hills of Shivers and Shadows. Sorry, my ring light is really hitting that, so we're going to do the best we can here. All right, so we have Hills of Shivers and Shadows by Pam Godwin, okay? This book, and this is a trilogy. It is extremely dark. It is super dark. It is a why choose romance. It will mind F you. I actually vlogged each book. They are spoiler vlogs. So if you are interested, I'll try to remember to link those down below, but I'll put the Hills of Shivers and Shadows one up here. But I go through a lot in those vlogs because Pam Godwin just is a genius at her craft. I mean, she just is. She has such a lyrical, beautiful way of writing. It hooks you. It like fucks with your mind. And she geniusly plotted out this trilogy. I just can't recommend it enough. So what this is about is Frankie, and she is actually married. She lives with a billionaire. He's a big billionaire. They live on like they're almost like their own little island. They're out in Alaska. And she actually just found out she's pregnant, and he never wanted kids. So they get in a pretty big argument. And then she actually gets kidnapped by Denver. Now Denver kidnaps her and takes her out to the Arctic, Alaska, where he has to fly out there in a plane that he can fly. And so she's in like the middle of freaking nowhere, hours away by plane from anybody. And he actually takes her out there to be with him and his sons. So he's got 3 sons with him, and she is just thrown in this horrible situation. It gets very dark. It's a captor-captive, why choose, and things will take you to a really dark place in this book that will blow your mind and just make you disgusted. but she handles it. Oh my God, it's so good. And of course, it ends, you know, on a cliffhanger, and then we have 2 other books. So just strap in. This one is like the thickest one, so just be aware it's kind of heavy too right now for me to hold, but it is super dark. And also it's just, I love the setting, like the survival aspects of being out in the middle of like Alaska and the Arctic Alaska, and how dangerous it is, and just like the mind of like what Frankie goes through. She's one of the strongest heroines. She goes through hell. But I loved these boys, these little boys. I just love them so much. So you'll have your fave. But I don't want to say more than that, because I think you should kind of go in with just that expectation, and just make sure if you are worried, check your triggers. She does list them all. But you just I wanted to go in blind, and I think it made this a lot more impactful for me. So she does have like a whole QR code if you want to check your triggers. There's like a spoiler-free one, and then like one that's very spoilery. So you can definitely do that if you can handle dark romance like me. Like, I'm cool with it. Not a lot triggers me. I think it's better to go in blind, because the journey that Pam takes you on is crazy, and just, it's better that way. It just is. And she has such amazing, like, I love this artwork that she has like in her book for each of like the different characters. Like, here's Wolfson, you got a wolf. So like, basically it's Denver and his 3 kids. We have Wolfson, Leonid, and then Kodiak. So and let me see if I can find. Here's Kodiak. That's my baby boy. Kodiak is my boy. I love him so much. But anyways, this series is a 6-star series. It's my favorite books. I put basically the trilogy as my top book altogether from 2024. So highly recommend this. I'll never stop recommending this. I couldn't stop thinking about it for months. Like, I talked about it constantly with other people that happen to be getting like the arcs of these. So it's just like, they are fantastic, but it's a dark, crazy ride. But you gotta trust Pam. She knows what she's doing. She knows where she's gonna take you. Just trust her, okay? Okay, so my next one was actually a new to me author, and I'd had this on my TBR forever, and I finally read it because it happened to be one of my 12 recs from 12 friends. So I'm so happy I finally read it, and that is Take Me With You by Nina G. Jones. This one was dark. I also did a vlog for this one, you guys, because I do vlogs for all my 12 recs from 12 friends. So if you want to check out the spoilery vlog, check it out if you want more information. But this one is so dark, and I was surprised with how triggering it was, because it did have a couple things that are like kind of like my triggers that could hit me, and I went in blind. I knew it was a captive. I knew it was dark. It's some of people's like favorite dark romance. And so that's kind of all I knew. So some things that happened though, like almost to the point where it almost went there, and I was like, I don't know if I can continue this. And I'm never like that with dark romance. You know, I can pretty much handle anything. I'm pretty desensitized. So this one definitely takes you on a dark ride. So again, I'm probably gonna say this just for all these books, check your triggers first, know what you're getting into, because, you know, I like a lot of dark shit. It just is. So in this, we have, I believe it was Sam. Yeah, Sam and Webster. And Sam is pretty fucked up, okay? This guy has issues. He is psycho. He actually sneaks into people's houses and like steals shit. And what he does in like these home invasions, I didn't expect it to go there. So just be prepared. So he usually does some pretty fucked up shit and breaks into people's homes and terrorizes them. And he gets off on that, you know, he's a psycho. And he ends up seeing Webster, and he really is attracted to her and drawn to her because she has a younger sibling that has kind of some special needs. and he sees how caring she is, and so he becomes obsessed and he starts stalking her. And one night he decides he's gonna do his usual thing and break in and terrorize them, but he decides to take her with him. So he ends up he kidnaps her and takes her back. He has like this whole farm and everything that he lives on his own, and he captures her, and the craziness begins, because Vesper is pretty smart. She's willing to do what she can to survive, and she knows it's going to be bad, but she has to kind of do certain things to kind of keep him interested, to keep him like feeding her, to everything. So she gets involved in this crazy dynamic with him, and it's very dark. Like, the stuff that goes on in this, there, is non-con. Just be prepared. There's assault on page in here, okay? So this guy is crazy. But what I'll say is this became one of my favorite reads of the year, because it blew my mind. It took me to places I never expected. I was shocked. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then what was really crazy is that this author made me have empathy for Sam, which is pretty hard to do. And the only author that I think can do that with the villain is Pam Godwin. So this is next level dark romance. To me, it was very fantastic. It's a new favorite, and I had to add it to this list. Okay, so another dark romance, but this one's a lot lighter dark romance. And I wanted to give you guys some different levels, so it's not just the darkest romance out there, but some like cute, sweet dark romance maybe. And I have the Pucking Wrong Number by C.R. Jane. Now, this is the first book in the series. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe it's like the Pucking Wrong series. I can't remember. Sorry. But this is about Lincoln Daniels, and he is one of my favorites. Like, he is unhinged. He's willing to do whatever it takes. So it is actually like very sweet, but it does have some dark elements for things that he did. Because like really like the stuff doesn't hit till like way later in the book about stuff that he did that like maybe kind of dark, and some people really like hated it. I fucking loved this book. So in this, we have Lincoln Daniels and Monroe. And Monroe actually, he accidentally texts her by mistake. And so she's like, kind of gives him the brush off. And I think at one point she even took a picture of herself like, hey, you're texting the wrong person. But once he sees her, this man's obsessed. And so he hires like a PI. He's trying to locate her. He's trying to track her down because he wants to make her his. And this man is like stalks her. He sneaks into her house, watches her sleep, all this stuff. And he kind of manipulates it so that they could be together. So, they start to date and stuff, and he is pretty high-handed with the things that he's done. Monroe is like really suffering financially and like really struggling to get by, and Lincoln is like a billionaire that just wants to take care of her and rescue her from her shitty existence. And I was like, please, Lincoln, rescue me. He is unhinged. Now, when she finds out the truth about things, it's not going to be the reaction he really wants. And if he has to capture her or chain her or to him, he'll do what he has to do. But it was such a fun time. I think I put this in here because it is dark, some of the shit he does with like the stalking. I'm thinking there was birth control tampering. Let me look up really quick just to make sure. Okay, so I didn't know if there was birth control tampering, so I'm not sure if that's in this one. I know C.R. Jane does do that, though. But basically, like, there was somnophilia, stalker. He would, like, jerk off over her while she was asleep by sneaking in. He does some shady stuff. He, like, gets her name, I think, tattooed on his dick. So I mean, this one's a lot more fun and light of a dark romance. So, and it's the first in the series, so definitely check it out. I loved Lincoln Daniels. Okay, so I'm sorry. This list is going to have a few Pam Godwin. It just is. It is what it is. She is literally my queen of dark romance. So she's going to be on here multiple times. Sorry. So the next one that I want to bring up of Pam's is Vanquish. So Vanquish is actually the second book in the Deliver series. Now this book series I'm in the middle of. I haven't finished it yet. I think there's like 9 books. And it is about sex trafficking. So just be prepared. Again, very dark romance. And this one just blew me away because in Deliver, the first book, you know, Van is kind of the villain. Like, he's very fucked up. He's ended up being that heroine's like partner. Like, they were kind of made to kind of kidnap and groom and train sex slaves. And so Van is pretty psycho. He's obsessed with that woman, and obviously she ends things with him. She falls for their person that they end up capturing. And they're off on their own now. And Van doesn't know what to do with himself. He was obsessed with her. He's pretty crazy. He's psycho. And so he's actually stalking them, her and her boyfriend. And there's this kind of like desolate, like, it looks like abandoned house across the street. And so he ends up kind of setting up shop over there. And then he realizes that it isn't abandoned. Amber is living there. And she has a lot of issues, a lot of mental health issues. And she's also, you know, agoraphobic, so she doesn't like go outside. So that's why it looks really abandoned. She like does a lot of work from home. She also has like, she was a previous like beauty pageant. She's gorgeous, but she has a lot of body dysmorphia issues. So I think she's bulimic and does all this kind of stuff. So she is messed up. She has a lot of issues, and Van becomes obsessed. And he decides that he's going to do his own type of therapy for her. So he's going to capture her and take her with him and kind of do what he needs to help her with her mental health issues and make her his. So this one is crazy because you wouldn't think that Van, you would have empathy for him after the first book, but you do. Like, I felt really bad for Van. I understood his issues and where he was coming from, and I just loved this book. Like, it has a lot of mental health rep in it, and I loved it. So again, that's the second book in a series though, so you do have to read Deliver first to get the full effect of Vanquish, but it is amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys a couple K. Webster ones. Now, again, one of these is really taboo. So it's dark, but it's really taboo too. So just be prepared for that. But first, I'll give you kind of just the dark one. And that is Psyop Kings. This is the first book in this, I think it's, I can't remember if it's the Psyop trilogy or whatever, but it's a trilogy. And this one is pretty crazy because it kind of sets up this kind of brainwashing using medication, and it's like kind of like a company that does this to kind of do things politically or, you know, do messed up things to further agendas and all this stuff. So it's a big, huge company that does this. And Caius is like the hero from this. He is one of the main guys that kind of runs this. They will like do this for other people where they will have like drug them and then condition them to be a certain way. So they can like literally make you anything and like make you a Stepford wife type of situation or whatever. So in this, we have Caius and Romy. And Romy comes from a really rich family, but she's like trying to do her own thing at college. And she kind of has a troubling relationship with her parents and everything. I will tell you, this is very dark because you get into a lot of her trauma that she had taken away from her, like from mind manipulation and this stuff. So she has severe trauma, like previous sexual assault, things like that, that her family's just fucked up, okay? But she's off at college, and one of her friends disappears, and she doesn't know where she's at. She was very studious, all about school, and all of a sudden she drops out, and she is just very suspicious, goes into detective mode, and then finds out that she was going to this Psyop company. I can't remember what it was called. Sorry. But she goes to this company and is trying to investigate. And she ends up investigating a little too much, where she gets drugged and kidnapped while she's at a bar or whatever. And she wakes up like in a box in this room, and she's freaking out. And this was Caius's brother that did this and kind of jumped the gun. And so now Caius is like, well, now you fucked us, because she comes from, elite family that we have dealings with. And so now we need to train her. So they start to try and put her through the motions of brainwashing and drugging. But for some reason, she's not susceptible to it. She's like fighting it. And so Caius just makes her be his girlfriend. And so she's kind of like his fake girlfriend, and he's kind of keeping her with him. And they're like holding her friend's like location from her, and are going to let her know, is, all this stuff. So this one is a crazy ride. I will say that there is so much triggering content in this. There is assault on page, and it's pretty bad. So obviously it's a trilogy, so the first 2 books leave on cliffhangers, but I really enjoyed it. It was really messed with your mind. The places this went were freaking wild. I always love K. Webster. She takes you to some dark, crazy places, and this one was definitely interesting. So the other one that I want to bring up is actually the taboo one. Okay, so if you've heard of her Wild series, it is a very taboo. It's a banned book. These are banned books. I got these directly from K. Webster's site. I love Wild. Now I've gotten like hate. Like I did my Wild and Free like vlog. I'll put that up here. And it's so funny. That video will get so many crazy, like aggressive comments sometimes, where I just have to like block the person, because we're not here to shame people for what they enjoy to read. Okay. We're not. If you don't want this dark, taboo, crazy shit, don't freaking read it. And you don't need to hate on people for reading it. Anyways, sorry, that's a rant for another day. But this one is actually a 2nd generation series. It starts with the Untamed. Now this is set in the Wild series. So the Wild, why it's so, if you don't know what it's about, which I mean, most people do, just because of the drama and everything that went on after that, because then they started banning K. Webster's books, and she had to do like Eden books just so she could like sell her banned books and still make money. And like a lot of banned authors are able to do that. But the Wild is basically about a father-daughter relationship, and they're like in Alaska in the wilds. And so, yeah, when I say this is taboo, it is freaking taboo. Okay, so this one is not going to be for everybody. Okay, this is the Untamed and the Unruly. This one leaves off on a cliffhanger, and the Unruly picks up right after it left off. So in this one, this is a 2nd generation, so this is about their children. Now just keep in mind, they're living in the like wilds of Alaska, cut off from society, and they have a very like ranch, homestead type of situation. And the father and mother, like they have been like bouncing, they've been like having lots of kids, like they are just having a ton. So in this we have Reagan, Ronan, and Ryder, and they are siblings. There you go, guys. It's taboo. So they are siblings, and they are kind of going through it because they're getting older and they are cut off from everybody else. And they're starting to have attractions for each other, and kind of confusing what's going on with them. Like, I believe was it Ryder? I think Ronan was the one like crushing on Ryder. Ryder's crushing on Reagan. Reagan's crushing on like Ronan. It's like this whole mess. and they are just really struggling through it, their attraction with each other. Now, the parents would never want this to happen for their kids. They don't want them to be like attracted to each other. They've sent like one of the kids off to like live in the city before, but it actually ended really badly for him, and he came back like more messed up. So a lot of them don't want to ever do that, and they're kind of nervous for that to happen. So now the reason this is dark, where it's not just taboo, is because these other people come by their homestead, and they have some like pregnant women. It's a whole huge group of people, and they want to stay with them. And Reed, the father, is like at first like, no freaking way. But when they're going to go travel on, like the woman's like very far in her pregnancy, and it's very dangerous for her to travel, and she was like kind of sick. So they end up opening up their place to them, and they're staying with them. And these guys are shady AF. And things go down in the end of this book where they try to kill a bunch of them, try to capture some of them to join their group. And the next one picks up after that. So it is intense. It is crazy. It was way darker than I expected with K. Webster, especially with the series. Usually it's just kind of like taboo and spicy. This one went to a lot darker places. So again, check your triggers. But I really enjoyed this. I'm so excited. She just announced another book coming in the series. I don't know if it's just a novella or what, but I signed up for the arc of that one, and I'm hoping I'm going to get it because I love this series. I just do. I love it. So again, this is not going to be for everybody. If you can't handle that sibling thing, it ain't going to be for you. But I wanted to add it here. Okay, so this one that I want to bring up is, honestly, it's the entire series is perfect for dark romance. I finally read this series. I read all of Rina Kent's backlist to get to this series, and that is a Legacy of God series. So I'm going to bring up the first one, which happens to have one of my favorite cover models and covers of all time. Oh, it's so hot. Like, I follow this guy on Instagram too. Like, I love him. This is one of my favorite covers ever. So anyways, this is God of Malice. This is the start of this series. And this is going to be, I didn't even write the names down here. This is with Glendon King, and then we have Killian Carson. So these are second generation. These are kids of other characters from her previous series. But basically, this sets up this kind of university that they're at, and they have like kind of rival families. We have like the British, what kids are the characters from her British ones, and then like the Americans from like the mafia families that she had in her other previous series. So you could technically go into this not reading her entire backlist like I did, but it does add a little something to it when you know the parents, because they do get involved in these books. But this is one of my favorite dark romance series. It has one of my favorite books of all time, which is God of Fury. So that was a 6-star read. I will never stop gushing about it. I was going to bring it up here, but I recommended it so many times. And I just want to start at the start of the series. So why this is dark is because Killian is basically a psychopath. He doesn't have any emotions. He's pretty fucked up. And he happens to run into Glendon when she is out at the edge of a cliff. One of her friends had killed themselves and on that cliff, and she's really in a dark place. She's out, on the edge of the cliff, and he runs across her there. And he decides to kind of fuck with her. And he basically makes her suck his dick. There's no other way to say it. He holds her at the edge of the cliff and makes her give him a blowjob for him to like let her go. And so she does. And I will say she gets off on it. She does really enjoy the experience, even though it is dubious consent, maybe non-con to some people. But we start off, this very much reminded me of Untouchable, which is one of my all-time favorite dark romances, which is in my first video, because of this. And he basically becomes obsessed with her and pursues her, and they have a crazy dynamic of what goes on between them. So this is the start of that series. It is dark. He is like almost to the point where he could be a serial killer, and so he has to hold himself back and be kind of tried to be in control because he knows he has that in him. So this is one of my favorite series. I definitely recommend it. This one kicks it off, and I love it. So again, I've vlogged these too because I vlogged every Rina Kent book that I read. So I have a Rina Kent playlist. If you want to check it out, you can see all my vlogs on Rina Kent books. So I think those are like my best vlogs. They do the best because it's Rina Kent and it's dark. So definitely love this one. Okay, so real quickly, I'm just going to bring up Manacled because I finally read that. It's a fanfic. It will be releasing as a traditionally published book pretty soon. I don't know if I'll read that. Honestly, I think I'm just going to probably keep it at the fanfic, at what I enjoyed. This is one of the most emotional, best, darkest, amazing fanfics, and you've probably heard about it everywhere. So many of us on BookTube have read it. It is so fantastic. It is a Draco Hermione like dark romance mixed with Handmaid's Tale. Hermione, it's like after the war, and basically Harry Potter and all her friends were killed in the war, and Voldemort won. And so she's been held prisoner for years, and now she is taken out to be Draco's handmaid, basically. And he has to kind of like breed her to get her pregnant, but also that'll help him get to her memories because she's lost a lot. Like, she's disconnected, can't remember a lot of things because of what happened to her. And so Voldemort wants her memories. He wants to find out about the order and more information. So in order for that to be easier and able to get to those, if she's pregnant with his child, he can get that information. So this is a long fanfic. It is so emotional. It was 6 stars for me when I read it. There's so much more to it than just that dark aspect. It does go into like their past. There's a lot of flashbacks. It's just really well done. The writing is fantastic. So definitely check that out. If you haven't tried fanfic yet and you're interested, try. Oh, you know what? I don't think Manacled is available anymore. So that kind of is messed up for me to say this. I think you can get it some places though. I might be wrong, but I just wanted to bring it up because it still is fantastic. And if you can't get it, the traditionally published one is going to be coming out soon. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of differences from what I've heard with other fanfic ones that are being traditionally published now. It seems like they're pretty much the same story. So I don't know. Anyways. Okay. So the last one that I want to bring up is another Pam Godwin, you guys. And it is one of my favorite dark romances, and it happens to also be a historical romance. And this is another one that I'll recommend till I'm blue in the face. I just will. And that's Sea of Ruin. This is my beautiful edition that I always love to show off. But this is one of like the best, darkest romances I've read. Pam Godwin is just such a phenomenal writer. She just writes beautifully. Like within the first prologue, the first chapters, I was bawling because I just connected to Bennett in such a crazy way as a child. So the way she sets up this story, like you're already invested. So this is a female pirate. And this is Bennett. She is one badass bitch. She's one of my favorite female heroines. She's one of the most badass. She goes through freaking hell in this book. So again, check your triggers. You need to check your triggers on this if you are worried, because there are so much dark shit. It's so much dark shit going on. But Bennett is a female pirate, and she was actually married to Priest. She basically left him, and she's kind of been running away from him on her ship ever since. He's trying to get to her because she found out he was in love with somebody else. She found some letters, and she pretty much knew he cheated on her. And so she said, peace out, I'm gone. And so Priest has been trying to get to her, and he finally catches up to her, and he's on her ship. And then now Ashley Cutler he is a pirate hunter, and he is chasing her down. He's going to catch her and her crew, and he would also get Priest. And so Bennett is like basically sacrifices herself so that he would just get her and they could get away. And so now he's taking her to the gallows to go get hung, and she's stuck on a ship with him. And she actually is staying in his room because the other pirates that are in the holding cell, like, we're going to rape her. And so he, like, basically has her in his room, and this guy is fucked up too, okay? This guy, but she is willing to do what she has to do to try and get out of this, to try and get away, to try and get him to, like, not take her to be hung. And so it goes on a pretty crazy thing. Now, I will say this is kind of a spoiler, but there is a connection between Priest and Ashley too. So that leads to, you know, some good stuff, okay? But there is a lot of dark stuff that happens in here, especially to Bennett. So I will mention there is on-page assault. So just be prepared. There's like non-con, dub-con. It's pretty brutal, and a lot goes on in this book. But it blew me away. It's still one of my all-time favorite dark romances, and I highly recommend it. It's great to have a dark historical type of romance. I love it. I love to see dark and historical, because those are like two of my favorite things combined. So anyways, if you could tell by this, I love Pam Godwin, okay? I love her. She is my dark romance queen. So you can never go wrong if you want extremely dark, but good. It's not gratuitous. It's not in your face just to be dark. Like, a lot of dark romance authors now just try to make their book as dark as possible and throw this dark shit at you, but it does nothing for the story, or it just feels like there to shock you. That's not what Pam does. Everything is for a reason. So anyways, I'm like losing my voice here, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching this. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let me know your favorite dark romances. If you love any of these, let me know. And I will see you guys on the next one.